Welcome to our September 8, 2020 Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting. We have the pleasure of having many guests tonight. We have some police officers that are going to be sworn in, and we have some fire department employees going to be sworn in, and we have a good representation from our city school system here tonight. We also have some other guests in the audience that will speak here throughout the meeting. So we'll start out. I'm going to ask Vincent Buchanan, who is with our City High School student, to come and do our prayer. And following that, Aiden Young, who's another student, will come and help us lead the pledge, and then we'll adopt our agenda for tonight. Everybody stand, please.
Dear Lord, Dear Lord, we're happy you allowed us to be here today in order to celebrate Miss Janine Wilson's retirement ceremony. We're glad that you could allow all the men and women to gather here today. We thank you, Miss Janine Wilson, for all your hard work and dedication you've put in the city school systems over the last couple of years. Dear Lord, we bless and we hope that you bless the board, our city, our students, our audience in attendance today. We wish Miss Janine Wilson a bright future on her future endeavors. And Lord, please bless us, safety and love for mankind. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. For the board, you have your agenda in front of you. Does anybody have any additions, subtractions, or they want to?
Yes, I do, Mayor. Let me get a little gizmo going here. On the agenda tonight, I noticed down towards the bottom, it says naming of the Hedgemont Park. We talked about this in the work session. We also talked about the fact that that would be a good place for a park, or we thought it would be. But there's nothing on the agenda for us to even vote to make the determination if we want to do that or not. So what I'm asking you as mayor to do is add to the agenda and make it number B, and then move naming of the park to number C, and add to the agenda whether we want to, in fact, make that property a city park and maintain it, or remove number B, either one.
Make that in form of a motion then?
Make that motion.
Second.
Discussion?
Have we really had time? I mean, it's on the agenda as naming Hedgemont Park, so now we're going to change the agenda, and have we had time to make an informed discussion on this?
If it's on the agenda to name it, we can't name it until we decide we're going to have a park. So we definitely need to name the park.
Have the discussion
Have
about
the
whether we're going to take
discussion,
that property and
Right,
develop
first.
it.
But we haven't been given any information, and I understand we can't name the park till we agree to have a park, which was confusing that this was on here as naming the park. But we've been given no information, no budgets, no anything on this. We haven't had a discussion really, and
This is an agenda item. We either need to add it or forget about all of it. And then the discussion for or against as it comes down.
I'll leave it to you, Mayor, to make the determination if you want us to add it to the agenda, or if you want us to remove B and deal with it at a later date. I'm okay with either one. I just know that we can't name a park without approving a park.
Right.
I mean, we're getting the cart before the horse here.
Right.
So, I mean, to me, I'm just saying that it can't work like this.
I understand.
You know.
So I think the best thing, I do want to clarify one thing first, is we did have a discussion at work session the other day, and we did talk about what a budget number would be to start. But I think in best, due to some remarks and some conversation, that we do just remove the item altogether from today, and then we'll have a discussion over the next month and bring it back the next month. Is everybody?
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with either one.
I'm
So
okay
I'll
with
just-
that.
I'm okay with either one.
I'm okay with it.
Okay, so
Either one.
at the moment, basically what will happen is, and we need to vote on this, Pam, is, so item A will stay as fire department beds, and C will go to B for the resolution. So we'll have 2 items under new business. Is everybody good with that?
I'm okay with voting on just removing it till we, if that's what you want to do.
I am.
That way we get more information and input.
So I will change my motion, and I will make my motion to remove B.
I'll second.
Okay. Pam, call the roll, please.
Mr. Bryant?
Nah.
Miss Allen?
Aye.
Miss Small?
Aye.
Mr. Alder? Miss Hartman?
Aye.
All right, so everybody else good with the agenda? All
I
right,
am.
so we'll go forward. We'll look at the minutes from regular meeting minutes of August 11th, 2020. Does anybody have any additions, corrections, deletions from those minutes?
I don't.
If not, we'll put those in the record. We have, before we get into our monthly reports, we have oath of office. We have, first, if I can have our 3 new police officers come forward. Joseph Brassfield, Nathan Maynard, and Keith Kowalski. Okay. I asked the police chief about that. Turn around, face the camera. Raise your right hand. I want to say aye, and you say your names. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I am duly qualified, according to the Constitution and laws of this state, to exercise the duties of the office to which I have been appointed, and I will do to the best of my ability discharge the duties thereof, and preserve, protect, and defend the constitutions of the state of Tennessee and the United States of America. I further swear or affirm that I will enforce the ordinances of the city of Fayetteville and the laws of the state of Tennessee, protect the life and property of its citizens, that I will diligently seek to detect crime and to apprehend perpetrators of crime, that I will be ever mindful of the trust that has been placed in me by the citizens of Fayetteville, and will make every effort to live up to that trust. Congratulations. Welcome aboard. Thank you so much. All right. If I can have the 3 firefighters, Alan Moore, Billy Miles, and Brad Sullivan. Raise your right hand. Say aye and say your name. I, Billy Miles, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and that of the state of Tennessee. And I will obey the laws and ordinances of the city of Fayetteville. I will protect the life and property of its citizens. And I will familiarize myself and be obedient to the rules and regulations, and will faithfully serve the city of Fayetteville in the discharge of my duties as a member of the Fayetteville Fire Department to the best of my knowledge and ability. So help me God. Congratulations. to our reports. We have Mr. Bill Hopkins from the Fayetteville City Schools tonight to come and report.
Thank y'all so much for having me, and I'm excited to be what I consider myself to be Fayetteville City's newest resident. So as of Wednesday a week, I have officially moved. I have registered to vote, and my wife went and got her license today, so we're super excited. With that, we've had a really good start to our school year. We have around 1,338 students. 25% of those students have decided to go virtual. That has been a new experience for us. Some of you may know that we started out with traditional and virtual, and we decided to do what we call remote learning Wednesdays because we wanted to make sure that we gave better access to our virtual students. We didn't feel like we were able to do the job that we want to do by going 5 days. So we're going to go through just the month of September. We're going to do virtual or remote learning Wednesdays. We're also excited. I'm sure y'all want to know how we spend your money, and we were able to upgrade 2 of our facilities, our Fayetteville High School and Ralph Askins Elementary. We've had new entrances at both those locations. They're new safe entrances. If you'll go to them now, you'll see that there's like an airlock in between where people can't walk immediately and go straight into the schools. I think as a parent and as community leaders, y'all will be very pleased with the facilities there. A little bit about, I thought I'd give you an update on our COVID cases. We've only had 3 students, knock on wood, and 1 employee so far test positive. So that shows how well the community's doing. Obviously, everyone here is doing a very good job. And of those, we've only had 21 individuals quarantined, and only 14 have been because of a direct result of a positive case in our schools. 8 of those a number of those were household contacts. So basically, they were quarantined because of household contact, not because that they were around someone at one of our schools. If you've not had a chance, you need to look at some of our social media and download our new app. I think that you'll be very pleased with that. It's an app that they've had for some time, but we've kind of done some upgrades, and I think that it will be a great way to not only promote things in the city schools, but also promote things here in the city. We're going to use that for communication not only with our parents, but with our students and also stakeholders. Very pleased that we've instituted 2 new committees. We actually have started a new minority coalition committee that's going to meet every other month. We've got some community leaders in that. I know Ms. Small, she actually went to the first meeting, and I look forward to working with her and getting a voice of a lot of people into our city schools. Also, we've created a committee with a parent and a teacher from each one of our schools so we can add some input and, again, better communicate with a lot of our stakeholders. Any questions?
Anybody have questions? Welcome. I see Coach Morrison snuck in there right there a few minutes ago with a few of his ball players, and big win the other night at Huntland.
Absolutely. All our athletic programs are doing very well, and I will say the great job they've done as far as our facilities. I don't think that we will see a more beautiful playing surface on any facility this year. I mean, our students get to play on the very best, and I'm super excited for what they've previously done, and I look forward to continuing that progress.
Well, also the fact that the track was in bad shape, the asphalt was bad spots, and so that's been redone, and that's been needed for years.
Absolutely.
So, but anyway, so Coach, I'm gonna be like Nixon. I got a couple plays I'm gonna send you.
I mean, I'm just not sure we can execute them right. If you watch this, it looks a little confusing out there, but we'll get it figured out.
It's like the old Notre Dame box.
That's it.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. The library report was going to be given by Alderman Martinez. She is ill this evening, so they are looking for a new director. And I had a little bbit of a report here. They had curbside service of 65 people last month, 1,497 visitors to the library for a total of 1,562 visitors. They're running an ad locally and outside the region for a director and start the interview process soon. Their next board meeting is September 21st at 5:30 at the library. That's an open meeting if anybody wants to go. And they have we continue to have these little pocket libraries around town, at some of the one on the avenues. You'll see them around town. Those are for people that, those books are free. If you want to go in and take a book, or you want to add a book, you're able to do that. So if you see that, take advantage of that. So we will go into our regular standing committee reports. Chief Howell's out. Mr. Collins, you give the fire department and police department report.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor. The Fayetteville Fire Department, during the month of August, responded to two building fires, 4 medical assist calls, 34 EMS calls, excluding vehicle accident, and 5 calls motor vehicle accident with injury. Another item of note, the toy drive that has been so popular throughout the city for years and years is being organized again, and Lieutenant Randy Gentry will be heading that up for us. That's the fire department report.
Police department.
Police department is gearing up for a busy weekend. Cruising downtown will be held here on the square Saturday, September 12th. The Trail of Tears Walk will also happen on that same day. Statistically, they had 92 incidents, 36 arrests, and 959 police activity events.
Thank you. Under finance department, Ms. Roselle.
Good evening. I'd like to start out by letting everybody know that the 2020 tax notices are being prepared for mail. The citizens should receive those around the end of September to the 1st of October. We will begin accepting payments October 1st. You have until February 28th of 2021 to pay your property taxes without any interest or penalties. We accept payment in person here at the municipal building, by mail to 110 Elk Avenue South, or you can pay via credit card online at FayettevilleTN.com or over the phone at 433-6154. Tonight I'd like to highlight our state sales tax received for the month of August. This would be sales that were actually made in the month of June. We received $57,333.46 from traditional sales and $1,002.43 from internet sales. Altogether, this is almost $4,000 more than we received in August of 2019. And with Fayetteville City Schools being here on the agenda tonight, I thought it'd be nice to mention the mixed drink tax. One half of this revenue received on liquor by the drink sales stays here in the city's general fund, and the other half benefits the city school system. We did see a decent drop in this revenue earlier in the year due to many restaurants closing because of COVID. However, I'm pleased to announce that revenues received in August of 2020 were 46.6% higher than in June of 2020, June is the lowest month that we received for the year. And not only are we almost 50% higher than a couple months ago, it's 13.5% higher than received in August of 2019. So again, we'd like to thank all of our citizens for getting out and supporting the local businesses and restaurants. It really does make a difference in more than one way.
Do we have any questions for Ms. Roselle? Thank you. We'll go to the Recreation Department, Mr. Collins.
Thank you, Mayor. Improvements to the City of Fayetteville Dog Park will be installed very soon. The agility features that will be added through funding from the Boyd Foundation Dog Park Dash should be received in the next week or so and will be installed. Next, I'd just like to touch on some great events coming up through the Parks and Recreation and great volunteer efforts. This coming Saturday, September 12th, is the Get Friendly with Don Davidson Park Fun Day. The event gets underway at 7 a.m. and will go throughout the day. And some of the activities include nature walks, mile-and-a-half trail run, volleyball, horseshoes, mountain biking, disc golf, and book reading. Also, they have announced the dates for the Trunk or Treat, which will be held at Stonebridge Park on October 29, 2020. and that is a good program. Last year, they added businesses to come and set up, and it's growing and getting better every year. And in conjunction with that, they announced the Scarecrow Trail will be put up again with decorative scarecrows throughout Stonebridge Park during the month of October after the October 12th deadline. A couple of other items, of course, our Bright Lights Festive Nights will be held at Stonebridge Park on December 4th, and then the annual City of Fayetteville Christmas Parade will be on Saturday, December 5th. That's my report, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. We'll go to Public Works, Mr. Plunkett.
Thank you, Mayor, Alderman. The month of August, we had 275 ton of trash, 139 ton of brush. September the 26th through October the 4th, the transfer station will be closed. That week, they've got to do some maintenance up there, redo the floor in the transfer station. That week, we will not be picking up any household or any residential garbage. We ask everybody to use the recycle center. We've got a flyer going out to the paper. I'm going to FPU and radio. It's going to be anywhere we can put it on the websites, and we just encourage people to use the recycling rather than hoarding their trash for a week. And the next following week will be run on schedule, and if it's trash is overflowing and on the ground, we will pick it up.
We spoke about this at the work session. You tried to work out something with Pulaski and everything outside of that. You also were coordinating with ISWA.
Correct.
Their recommendation was it would be too costly, too much wear and tear on our vehicles that we had to do it any other way. So
Yes,
we're just asking the citizens just, for a short amount of time to do what we, and then we also discussed that, normally we just pick up the can that we provide, but if there's some way that they got extra bags, we'll get those extra bags.
That's correct, Mayor. That's my report unless there's any questions.
What is the Second Avenue? Just, you mentioned
Second Avenue, the floor is poured and they're getting ready to frame the walls for the bridge there. They're working on the curb and gutter on Brookmead, and engineering is being done as we speak on Lowell Drive.
Just real quick, just to kind of remind people on Lowell Drive the situation. That's an area that street dead ends.
That's correct.
That one side.
It'll have to be, the bridge over there will have to be built in two sections. They'll leave part of the tile in for the traffic to go through. They'll build one side of the bridge, open it up, and reroute the traffic across it, and then tear the other side out and build that side of the bridge. It's going to be timely and aggravating for the people, but
it couldn't be like Second Avenue because the people on the back side, a few houses, won't be able to get in and out.
That's correct.
Doing it this way.
that's the problem with cul-de-sacs.
Right.
You have no one way in and one way out, and when something happens, it's inconvenience.
That's correct. That's just on the back side of the city limits, basically.
That's correct.
There's nothing but terrain field back there. So, anybody have any questions, Mr. Plunkett?
I do. Annie, could you give us those dates again for anybody that is watching TV tonight?
September the 26th through October the 4th.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank y'all.
Planning codes, Ms. Gentry.
Thank you, Mayor and Alderman. In August, 12 building permits were issued. The total project valuation was $884,966. The total permit fees were $1,693. To date, about approximately 550 property maintenance violations have been logged. Of the violations that have been entered into our new Municity software, it included 106 grass violations, 5 inoperable vehicles, 8 signs, and 23 trash and debris violations. Ms. Hyde is also diligently working to keep all the political signs in compliance. So if any candidate has a question about the placement of a sign, please contact our office and we will let you know those regulations. We are preparing for the 6th annual Cruise In downtown this Saturday, September the 12th. The event is from 4 to 7 p.m. Maggie Moo's, Kona Ice, and Nothing But Cakes will be our food vendors this year. Pre-registration is still open this week, and it's only $25. You will receive a t-shirt, a commemorative dash plaque, and a goodie bag. On the Retail Academy, Miss Carolyn Denton, Miss Lennis Hyde, and myself completed the first phase August 13th and 14th. We have our one-on-one call with Lacey Beasley with Retail Services this Thursday. She will be going over our customizable deliverable that includes the demographics for Fayetteville, potential retailers that we could recruit, and tells about our highest retail leakage. The Planning Commission is working with Ms. Sharon Armstrong to update our subdivision regulations. We have already set the dates for a work session through December of this year. We will have 2-hour work sessions to work on this document. The last one, we will have more information at a later date, but we will open it to the public and invite some real estate agents, contractors, and people in the building industry to get their feedback. The Planning Commission also completed their 4 hours of continuing ed on August the 25th with Kevin Chastain with Griggs and Maloney. I spoke with Steve Chandler today, who's working on the branding project using the UDAG funds. We are tentatively looking at setting the video and photo shoot for the last week of this month. He is going to contact me at the beginning of the week, and we'll be setting up a shot list and reaching out to stakeholders, merchants, and restaurant owners, and just some citizens about including them in the photo and video shoots. So we'll keep everybody up to date on that. And lastly, I sit on the oversight committee for the Host of Christmas Past, and I spoke with Miss Carolyn Denton, and we just want to get the word out that we are having hosts this year. It may look a little different. Some of the events are not going to be able to be held, but we are encouraging vendors and anybody who would like to do an event to contact Miss Carolyn at the Chamber. We are diligently working to put on a successful festival, and we just appreciate everybody's cooperation as we plan.
So, Ms. Gentry, kind of explain a little bit more about host. In the past, we would have a tree lighting on Friday night. That's being moved to Saturday evening. Friday's more of like the stores being open and restaurants in this area on the square. And then Saturday being like the main day for host.
Yes, sir. We thought we still want to incorporate the tree lighting, but sometimes a full 2-day festival, especially with this year, was a little harder to try to plan and organize because we're still limited on who we might be able to get to help us. It's still unknown if we're going to be able to have the trustees and some different people. So we're trying to look at condensing it and still making it successful. So we are thinking about ending the festival on Saturday night with a tree lighting and featuring some special guests. And we're also looking at a new route for the luminaries, trying to incorporate it more into downtown and figure out an exact route. But those are just some of the hurdles that we're trying to overcome. But we want to stress we are having it. We still will have a lot of the fun things. They just might have to be tweaked a little this year.
Anybody have any questions for me?
Thank you.
Thank you. City Administrator's report, Mr. Collins.
Thank you, Mayor. We have 2 special guests here tonight. From Crowley Engineering, I'd like to recognize Mr. George Teague and Mr. Patrick Linton. They have been instrumental in helping us maximize the impact of the governor's $500,000 direct appropriation for Camp Blunt to the city of Fayetteville. It's through their designs and working together with the Camp Blunt Historic Site Association and of course the city planning committee that we've been able to do such great work. So George, Patrick, thank you all for attending tonight.
Thank you. Thank you.
Speaking of Camp Blunt, we are geared up for what is going to be a very special day, not only for Fayetteville and Lincoln County, but the entire state of Tennessee, and could be argued the United States of America. On Friday, October 16th, we will have the unveiling of the first volunteer statue. The statue is en route from the foundry and going to the home office, and will be coming to Fayetteville soon for installation. And I have another special guest here, but before I turn it over to her, Mayor, just like to do a shout out to them Fayetteville Tigers. What a ball game at Huntland. Beating Huntland at Huntland, it don't get much better than that except when the Vols upset Alabama. So with that being said, I would like, with the board's permission, to bring up Laura Lee Page of Community Development Partners. Last time Laura Lee was before us, she was Laura Lee Hughley. So now, Mrs. Page, if you would come up and give an update on several of the projects.
Take off my mask so you guys can hear me. Yes, my name is Laura Lee, and I'm with Community Development Partners, and we work with y'all on grant administration, navigating all the red tape that is associated with getting blessed with state and federal funding. So we do have a number of projects with you guys, which is very exciting for us and hopefully for y'all as well. I am so pleased to report that the phase 1 of the Transportation Alternatives Grant to do sidewalks from the square to Stonebridge Park is now complete. And I did drive by on my way. It looks good. Phase 2 of that project was also funded by TDOT in 2018. And it goes from Stonebridge Park across the river to Camp Blunt. That one got a little held up in FHWA, which is the federal funding source, did another audit and on the NEPA phase and decided we needed to talk to archaeology again. Well, to everybody, but then archaeology figured out that a construction entrance had been added to the plans that was not originally on the plans, nor should it have been, but because they saw it, they want to make sure that there's not deeply buried deposits of archaeological artifacts. So additional studies are underway. The study itself, the testing has been done, and Travis at Tennessee Valley Archaeological Research is working on a summary to submit to TDOT, and it just takes time. Unfortunately, that also means I can't tell you exactly when we will be back at that construction point, but based on what Travis has shared with us, it seems as though by the end of the year, we should be able to have TDOT squared away on archaeology. Hopefully, we'll have gone to state historic preservation, and that's the only thing holding us up at this point from bidding and then breaking ground. So hopefully by spring, I wish I was bringing a shovel tonight, because I know that you guys have already broken ground and on other projects at Camp Blunt, which Scott and I did try to share with the state, but we're peons sometimes, but that's okay. Phase 3 is now about to hit that NEPA phase. So that's the environmental process. And luckily what we're doing on phase 2, what's holding us up, is going to ultimately help us on phase 3. We don't have to revisit that. We will have to go for a consult specifically for what we're doing on phase 3. However, the whole site by that point would have been cleared, so we could do any project out there. So the city, that one was one that the city used TDOT's on-call services to hire barge design to design that project. And so the city has made payment to TDOT to get that started. And then CDP, our company, will be working with barge to subcontract through them. But hopefully we will get started on the NEPA as soon as possible. And then the 2008 Local Parks and Recreation Grant out at the Old Goodman property, barge has completed the design. They initially did some design, and then y'all decided, you know what, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it, and started looking more into the irrigation and lighting, which really does help your facility there did require a little bit of redesign, and so that is now being reviewed by the appropriate entities at Fayetteville. And then once we're clear, anything else that needs to be added, then the engineer will send it to me and I will get it on to the state for their review. You never really know how long it's going to take. Sometimes it might take a week and sometimes it might take a month, month and a half. Depends on if they have any comments, how many comments, and how easy it is to address those items and how quickly they get to review it. So, but I will be walking everyone through that process that needs to be involved. And then finally, thanks for bearing with me, is your ADA transition plan. Brian in our office is our planner, but for some reason I'm the administrator on the surveyor, the Survey Monkey, and so I got notifications every time you guys had a survey put in, and so sometimes it was like 30, and so I'd send it to Brian, which is huge. He said that y'all got in total over 100, which is amazing. So thank you, community. Thank you, the board, for getting the word out. However y'all shared that, it worked out very well. Brian now has all the information that he needs, and that team will start pulling everything and hopefully have a draft document to you guys in the next few weeks. What y'all will then do with that document is post it on your website, receive comment on it, and then once comments are received, anything's addressed, then it'll be finalized and brought to you guys for final approval and acceptance of the plan. So that was 5 projects. So thanks for bearing with me. Are there any questions?
Do you have any questions? I want to compliment you on the fact that, because I see the traffic of what you do, and when you mentioned about they may have comments, they may hit you with 8 or 10 comments at one time that they want responses to, and you're always within that day normally, if you can, respond. And sometimes you may go back and forth with them 6 times in a day or more, but you facilitating this helps this process go on much faster for us. We're very appreciative of it.
You're welcome.
I just wanted to ask you to come down because we don't see you that often,
Yes.
so that not just us up here, but the community understands. All these projects seem to take like 5 years minimum. You know, from the day you get the award, the environmental, the archaeology seem to be the hardest to get over those reviews to be approved. But you know, patience. We're very happy with the first phase of the Greenway.
Good.
Very happy with it. So we understand the second, and like I say, Camp 1's going to be kind of the first part done before, but that's okay.
Yeah.
We just keep doing it. So thank you for coming tonight.
Yes, thank you for having me, and never hesitate to ask us to come down. You know, this has been a weird time for us not traveling. I typically, with everything going on, probably would have been down here at least a couple times this summer. So we appreciate y'all being flexible with us as we try to protect our communities as well. So thank you guys.
Mr. Collins, did you have anything else to do? No. Okay. We don't have any unfinished business. We'll go to new business. We have 2 items. A, fire department beds. This was spoken in police and fire and moved to work session last Thursday. Chief Howell talked about the need to replace beds at both houses. We talked about a number not to exceed $12,000. So I just need a motion in a second on that item.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion for the fire department beds to be bought.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Pam, call the roll, please.
Ms. Allen?
Aye.
Ms. Small?
Aye.
Mr. Alder?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Passed. Item B, resolution 2020-11, resolution for Dr. Janine Wilson. We have a resolution for just commemorating her time, not just in the city system, but she worked in the county system before that. So I will read the proposed resolution, and then we'll ask for a first and a second to approve it, and then present it. So we have your City of Fayetteville Resolution number 2020-11, a resolution to recognize Dr. Janine M. Wilson Whereas it is appropriate that the members of this board of mayor and aldermen should honor Dr. Janine M. Wilson, who has performed with exceptional commitment to the education of students in Fayetteville, Lincoln County, and has strived to leave a positive imprint on her community and world. And whereas Dr. Janine M. Wilson is one such honorable person, and whereas Dr. Wilson received a psychology degree from the University of Tennessee in 1973 and completed her education degree in 1975 with a Bachelor of Science in Speech and Hearing, and whereas Dr. Wilson continued her devotion to educational learning at Tennessee State University, where she received her Master of Education in Administration and Supervision in 1982, and later returned to complete her Doctor of Education with a major in Administration and Supervision in 2001. Whereas Dr. Wilson began her career teaching 8th grade math at Central Junior High School. And whereas Dr. Wilson served as a principal for 12 years in Lincoln County at Petersburg School and assisted in the opening of the new Unity School. And whereas Dr. Wilson was named the Assistant Director of Schools for 1999 for the Fayetteville City School System. Whereas Dr. Wilson was appointed to the Fayetteville Public Utilities Board in 2007, elected chairman of the FPU Board in 2009, working with CEO Britt Dye and the members of the board to substantially improve the infrastructure of the water and wastewater system until leaving the board in June of 2017. And whereas Dr. Wilson was appointed Director of Schools for Fayetteville City Schools in 2010, during Dr. Wilson's tenure, she worked with the Fayetteville City School System Board to establish the new city high school and nurtured lifelong relationships with the students that attended Ralph Askins Elementary, Fayetteville Middle School, and Fayetteville High School. And whereas Dr. Wilson will retire on December 31st, 2020 with 43 years serving in education in Lincoln County and for the city of Fayetteville, whereas Dr. Wilson and her husband Eddie reside in Lincoln County and enjoy spending time with their children Courtney and Rebecca and their grandchildren, now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Mayor and Aldermen that we extend to Dr. Janine M. Wilson our sincerest thank you for her contributions in making our community and the world a better place. Read and adopted this 8th day of September 2020. Do I get a motion and a second on that?
Mr. Mayor, I move that we adopt, resolution number 2020-11.
Second.
Second. Discussion. Pam, call the roll, please.
Ms. Small?
Aye.
Mr. Alderman?
Aye.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Allen?
Aye.
Aye, passed. Dr. Wilson, if you'll come forward. Thank you for your service. The Vice Mayor asked if some of the students could come up and have a picture with Dr. Wilson.
Yes.
I love that. Oh, this is wonderful. Let's see. Here you go. All right. Count three and take on quick, okay? All right. We want to do this 3, 7, 1. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. Thank you. Thank all of you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you. That ends our business for the meeting. We go to closing comments. I go to Mr. Alder to start.
Wish Ms. Janine Wilson well in retirement. Appreciate all you've done over the years. I want to say thank you to the folks that cleaned up the Stonebridge Park again. Carried my family down this weekend. A lot was going on at the park. It looked really nice, and just good to see people out, and it looked really good. So thanks to all those folks who did that.
Thank you. Alderman Hartman?
I would just I'd like to say I'm thankful for the beautiful weather we've had this week. Everybody get out and enjoy it as much as you can. And just to say, we had a wonderful first Friday, this past Friday night. It was one of the largest that we've had. We had 41 vendors and lots of fun was had around the square. There was live music playing on 3 sides of the square, and we hope that October will be even larger than that. So we're looking forward for the first Friday in October. There's a lot going on this weekend, so get out, enjoy your family, enjoy the weather.
Thank you. Vice Mayor.
I'd like to thank the citizens, first of all, for shopping local and making the sales tax what they are. We really appreciate that. This is our community, and we want to see it grow as much as possible. Congratulations to our new officers of the fire department and the police department. And thank you again, Dr. Wilson, for all that you did and all that you will do.
Mr. Bryant.
Yeah, I got 2 or 3 things. I believe we got a 9/11 observance Friday. I really hadn't heard anything about it till today. I don't know why. We thought we'd had some advertising about it, but I don't know what the deal is. But we do have it Friday, Friday morning, I believe, at 10 o'clock. Of course, I certainly want to congratulate the fire department and police department on all the new officers and how they've been working together. Seems like they've been working together good. Main thing I'm going to do, though, is congratulate Dr. Wilson. Now, I know a little bit more about her, maybe some people know, because I've been on that board some, and I've watched her operate, and her number 1 priority, without doubt, is the students. That's it. That's her number 1 priority. What is good for our students. And her number 2 priority is when she takes a stand, you couldn't move her with a bulldozer. I mean, I've seen her take all kinds of different situations, to take abuse, take things that people take in her position that you're going to get. I mean, it really is. You're dealing with parents, you're dealing with public and all, but she's been very, very solid, and I'm going to miss her. But now I'll move on to something else now. We got Mr. Bill Hopkins has come on, and I've kind of watched him a little bit lately, and I've kind of watched him kind of keeping up how he does. And he's kind of the same way now. He's all about the students. But I'll tell you something else about him too. He's a feisty little fellow. I mean, you talk about getting into stuff. I mean, if you don't watch him, he'll be out there on the football field trying to run football. I mean, that's just how he is. And he really seems to be engaged in the Fayetteville City school system. And I think that he's going to do very well. I think that he'll be really do great. I don't think he will fill Dr. Wilson's shoes, but I think he will make his own shoes. And I think that everything will be great. I think it will. Congratulations, Dr. Wilson.
Oh, it's always fun going last because usually everybody's covered everything. But I do have kind of a long list tonight. I want to congratulate the new firefighters and police officers. Congratulations, Dr. Wilson. You will truly be missed. I want to welcome Mr. Hopkins. We're excited to have you there. You're doing a great job. Let's see, this weekend we have Cruise In from 4 to 7 up here on the square. Don Davison Park, they have activities starting at 7 a.m. And I also want to remind everybody that AYSO soccer sign-ups are going on now. And you can call the Parks and Recreation Department for information on that. I think that's it.
As I want to mention, as Alderman Hartman mentioned, yes, we did have a very successful first Friday. They kind of changed hours a little bit from 5 to 8, allowing the people that are leaving work from the courthouse to kind of get out and have a little more systematic structure of the people coming in. 41 vendors. Next one, October 2nd. For those that are interested in participating, you can sign up at www.fayettevillemainstreet.com. They have a new form here within the next couple of weeks. September, we approved, you'll see ribbons around the square for ovarian cancer awareness. That's a very important thing. Anybody that feels like they have any of those symptoms, really have that checked out. Don't let that linger. Participate with Mayor Newman on a proclamation raising awareness of September as Suicide Prevention Month. It's another thing. There's a lady came for our region and did a thing you'll see in the paper soon, but talked about the fact that, when during these times, those numbers of unfortunately, the numbers of people calling to talk are much higher than as opposed to somebody taking action and trying to do something harm to themselves. So also, I want to, this is being Labor Day, I want to honor our workers at Parks and Rec and Public Works and some of those areas. You see our policemen and you see our firemen. A lot of times you don't see our people that, you know, are out there picking up your trash at 2 in the morning or 3 in the morning. And like yesterday, they're catching up today, doing the maintenance, one's cutting the lawns and everything. So I want to make sure that they understand that we know what they do and we appreciate what they do. I always like to focus on the positive. I had a former high school classmate contact me yesterday I had spoken to in years and said, you know, I've lived in Huntsville my whole life. I've never been to Fayetteville. Drove up to Fayetteville and ate at one of our local eateries and was just thought our square was so beautiful and the parks, and wanted to, he said, when I come back, I'll give you lead time so you can give me recommendations. So sometimes we get to where we focus a little too much negative wise, but there's a lot of people that come in from outside that really love our town. And over the last few months, I've had the ability to travel quite a bit. I've traveled up to above Cincinnati and back. I've driven East Tennessee, Kentucky and back. I've driven all the way down to Montgomery and back. And there's a lot of towns our size that are hurting really bad. They don't have a square like ours. They don't have retail. They don't have, those little local governments are struggling because they don't have the retail base to be able to help, so they have to look at property tax increases or sales tax increases or whatever. I have no problem if we ever disagree on how we want to get to something, but we're fortunate to have a disagreement at the moment. We have mentioned at the last few meetings that from a sales tax perspective, we've only gained more over the last 6 or 8 months than lost. People get on social media and say that we're broke. We're not. We're so financially sound. Mr. Roselle sent out an update today. We're actually a little bit better off financially at this point than we were a year ago. Our reserves are strong. Our financial standing is strong. So just like I said, I like to focus on the positive sometimes as opposed to the negative. Coach Morrison, get Mount Pleasant, hit them hard.
Yes, I'd like to say something.
We'll come on up. We'll come on up.
I want to throw an invitation out there real quick. I also want to thank Dr. Wilson. When you talked about a lot of heat that she's taken over the past few years related to things that she's done for various folks, and they would say it was because of me, but it was because of the kids. The new football field that's been completed is phenomenal. Mr. Hopkins mentioned that earlier. The new weight room, phenomenal, paid great dividends. Obviously going 10-0 wasn't, you know, it had a lot of work behind that went into it, and we wouldn't be able to do what we did last year and the start of this year without what she did for these young men, not for me, but for these young men, and I can't thank you enough. So with that said, Mount Pleasant Region game Friday night, we're going to honor Dr. Wilson before the game. We've got a little present for her that related to our undefeated season last year that we want to honor her with, not to spill the beans on that, but just she'll be really excited, I'm sure. And we're also, if you look closely on the back of our helmets, we're wearing a Dr. Wilson emblem on the back, a sticker on the back of our helmets to honor her throughout this season on her way out. So can't thank her enough, but want to invite y'all out. 6:40 that will start, and love to honor her that night.
Now, is it still a situation where people have to get there like at 5:30? Is there still a limit on the number of people that can attend? 1,500
is what we're limiting at. The gates will open at 5:30. Social distancing, mask, the whole works. We haven't had an issue with that. Game one, crowd was obviously down, probably because of COVID. We hope for the region game this week that it'll be up. I know at Hunting last week we packed it out. We had more people than they did down there. And congratulations to our players for pulling that great win off the other night. We owed them a little from last year. We won't even get into that, but
Go on ahead and get in.
I don't want to go down that road again. We'll see them again in the playoffs, I'm sure. So we'll have another shot at them. We want that one to be at our place this time, but we got to take care of this Friday first. Appreciate y'all's support.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I have one last thing before we adjourn. Mr. Collins went through a Institute for Public Service Certified Public Manager Program, and this is his plaque that says City of Fayetteville Board of Mayor and Alderman recognized and honored Gregory Scott Collins and his completion of the University of Tennessee NAFI Center for Effective Leadership Institute for Public Service Certified Public Manager Program, and his devotion for enhancing the economic and community development in Fayetteville, Tennessee 2020. So, Mr. Collins, if you come down front, present this, take a picture, and then that picture right there. Thank you. Thank everybody for coming. We're adjourned.
Congratulations.